Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Dave from StructureStrength.com, and today we're going to talk about 4 different ways to stop hip pain. Now, hip pain is a very general statement, but we often see people grab their hip, their lower back, the front of their hip, the side, when they're doing squats, deadlifts, running. Running is a common thing to trigger hip pain and lower back pain, but we see people doing some weird things to kind of take care of it. So we see people like foam rolling, lacrosse balling, every part of their body. That's not taking care of an issue. That's kind of just putting a Band-Aid on it, temporary, feeling good, and then they go right back into doing stuff that bothers it. So right now we're gonna go through these 4 different ways. It may be great for you, it may not work for you because I don't know you personally. If you're looking for some real help with hip pain, you can always message us, Dave@StructureStrength.com. We have some people we work with, repair and rebuild. We can do some programming to help you out. All right, so number 1 is know your range of motion. So what I mean by that is, as much as I'd love to have everyone squat below parallel or deadlift from the ground, or do step ups to a height that's above their knee, we're all built a little differently and we all have pre-existing issues that are going to cause problems. So what I'm talking about for this is if we're squatting below parallel and we're missing hip flexion, right? It's going to hurt every time we go below parallel. And coaches mean really well when they keep telling you to get lower in that squat and get lower in that squat, but you're really jacking up your hip and it's causing pain. You might even feel it across the back when the issue is actually in the front. So a quick way you can test this is if you lay on the ground. All right, so I'm gonna lay flat on my back and I'm gonna pull my knee towards my chest. And if I feel pinching and pain in here, I'm squatting too low if my knee looks like this. And I can go wider, just like a squat, feel it out in different ranges of motion. I can see if my opposite leg pulls off the ground, right? And we'll be able to tell. So like right now, I'm very tight. We did like 175 wall balls the other day. If I pull out here where I squat, I can feel this knee coming up, which means if I squat this low, my hips are rolling under, my lower back is taking a load that it shouldn't be and doing work it's not supposed to be doing as well, and that might cause hip pain. All right, another thing we can do is just check rotation. So here I am, really tight from those wall balls, trying to get out there. I can move it without my leg so I can see what my actual controllable range of motion is. You can see that's really small and tight right now, okay? So if I just do a couple of these quick tests, if I check my toe touch, it feels really tight and painful, right? I'm trying to get down to the ground. It's not really there, right? So if I know these things, hip flexion, what's going on with that toe touch, rotation, you can kind of figure out what ranges of motion, excuse me, you should be working in and which ones you shouldn't. And I know we all love to try and squat low. We all want to pull weight off the ground, but it might just not be right for you with your current hip situation going on. So know the range of motion you own and know what you don't, right? Let's train that range of motion that we own. Let's practice and work on the range of motion we don't, all right? Number 2, stop stretching. I'm talking about static stretching, pain. Excuse me, I must have swallowed something. So stop stretching pain, what I'm talking about is if the front of my hip hurts, the side of my hip hurts, we'll see people like couch stretch it, we'll see people pigeon pose it, and they're stretching into a painful, it might be your tendon, it might be muscle, something is hurting. Now, if you have pain when you stretch into a range of motion, I'm not talking soreness, but pain, usually some type of tissue has been overused or you actually have damage. So imagine like a rubber band. If that rubber band was dried out and then I go to stretch it, it snaps. Now imagine your tendons and your muscles the same way. If you have damage or it's overused, and now we stretch it, it's not going to like it. So instead of stretching pain, we want to go slow, controlled movement. Sorry. So if we know the front of the hip is hurting, even just doing some really, really slow, just moving my hip around, right? Controlling it, we're slowly adding range of motion. We're slowly moving that muscle through a range of motion, right? We're kind of loading a little bit, but not a lot. That will go farther than me sitting there doing a Samson stretch or a couch stretch. So don't always stop stretching something and it hurts when you stretch. Then you're like, oh yeah, I'm working on it. You're not, you're probably making it worse, all right? It's just like when people have shoulder pain and they do that banded overhead stretch, that's probably making it worse, especially if it's pinching in there, all right? Number 3, for your hips, we're going to talk about lateral movement, all right? Now, if you do CrossFit, if you're an Olympic weightlifter, this is really for you, all right? If you train like an athlete and you do lateral movement, awesome, but most of us don't. So I'm talking about things where you put the band above your knees, you can do that little walk across the floor, we do side shuffles, heck, even do the old school like Jane Fonda video stuff, right? That's okay. There's all these muscles that control lateral movement that if they're underdeveloped compared to everything else, you end up with pain in your hips because your body's not working necessarily the way it should, okay? So we all have compensation patterns, and a lot of times in CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, if we don't hit these movements, we have problems, all right? Another great movement for this is also Cossack squats. So you can do it weighted or unweighted, but feet wide. You can hold a kettlebell here, start with no movement, no weight rather. You're just gonna come down as low as you can without pain and come back up. And you can alternate or you can keep going on that one side, all right? So now for me personally, this lateral movement part, that's warm up for me. That's kind of the stuff I do before I go heavy, all right? So know your range of motion, stop stretching painful areas. Let's get some lateral movement going, okay? Side shuffles, those banded walks, all those things that seem kind of funny, like those clamshells, things of that nature, right? And then last but not least, let's get into single leg options. All right, so I'm not just talking about step-ups or Bulgarian split squats. I'm also talking about like single leg deadlifts, hip airplanes. If you don't know what a hip airplane is, try and go tabletop, rotate up, rotate down, right? All these single leg options, whether it's single leg deadlift, step-ups, Bulgarian split squats, even a Cossack squat falls into this category. That makes sure that we're not so uneven left or right that now we're having pain because of that. Now, for anyone that's scared to do all these things because you're scared you're not going to get stronger, believe it or not, or you don't get weaker, you'll get stronger doing this. We had the whole gym here for 3 months do no two-legged squats. We did all single leg work, lots of lateral movement, and everyone's back squat went up. It was something like 88% of the gym's back squats went up. All right, so don't be scared to slow down if you have hip pain. Look at these 4 areas, see what you can do about it. We have tons of videos on different ways to mobilize and warm up, lateral movement, strengthen your glutes, strengthen your core, that can help you out. If you're looking for some help and you don't know how to program this stuff, you can check out structurestrength.com. If you're looking for some individual help, you could always message me at dave@structurestrength.com. We can talk about some programming, how we can help you PR your lifts, get better at CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, whatever ventures you're going into. Talk to you guys soon.